Hi, Assalamualaikum guys. We meet again for this week. This week I would like to introduce you a new chapter, which is chapter 5. So chapter 5 I will divide it into the 3 parts. So we have the part 1 this week, part 2 next week, and another week is the part 3, which is the part 3 is the last chapter that you will learn in this subject. Okay guys? So next, of course, for the second slide, I would like to tell you about the learning outcome. So what does it mean about the learning outcome? Learning outcome is what you got after you done this chapter. First, of course, you should be able to learn about standard, predefined function and discover how to use them in program. Next, you should be able learn about the user-defined function. So what does it mean about the user-defined function? So after you done this chapter, you will differentiate between predefined function and user-defined function. So next, examine value returning function including actual and formal parameter, and the last one is explore how to construct and use a value returning user-defined function in a program. So for today, I would like to introduce you what does it mean about the predefined function and introduction a little bit about the user-defined function. Okay, next is modular programming. So modular programming is the other name of the function. Okay, remember function also known as the modular programming. Okay, next let's show you is what is a function. So what does it mean function in CSC 128? Function is a subprogram which carry out a specific task. So remember, function we carry out a specific task. For example, we want to make a subprogram. It just focus to find the maximum number only. So that is the example of the function. So function also known as the module. Remember, this is the other name of the function. Module, or we call it as the modular programming. Okay, next, an approach used to handle complexity in solving problem based on the divide and conquer strategy. So this is the main point why we need to use the function inside our program. Okay, so we want to divide and conquer to solve the problem. Remember in chapter 1, remember back what does it mean about the programming. Programming is used to solve a problem step by step to solve the problem. Okay, for example, we have a larger problem. So a larger problem that we have is more complex. So how we can conquer or how we can solve that complex problem, so we need to broken up into a smaller program. So when it's become the smaller problem, so it will make that the larger problem. So the solution to the problem, okay, a module consists of a combination of solution for the smaller problem. So we known as the sub-module. So when we talk about the sub-module, it's all about the function. Okay, so as you can see in here, this is what we learn in chapter 2 and chapter 3 and 4. So chapter 2 is introduction for the programming. Chapter 3 is focused on selection, and chapter 4 is the repetition. So on chapter 3 and chapter 4, all the process will do inside the main. So main is focused all kind of the process that we need to solve the problem. As you can see in here, it says that this program has one long complex function containing all of the statements necessary to solve a problem. So in here we want to find the maximum number. So in integer main also we want to find the minimum number. In here also we want to find the total number of 3 number and so on. So all the process we will put in the main. So can you imagine if you have 1000 process that you need to use, that you need to put inside the main to solve the problem. So how many line statement that you have inside the main? And when we have a long statement inside the integer main, so it can cause integer main executed time more longer. Okay, menjadi lebih lambat, more slower. So how we want to divide it into a specific task. That's why function will come into the programming world. So this is the example of the program that use the function. So as you can see in here, in left side, okay, integer main will process many statements, okay, in one program. But if you apply it and solve the problem using the function, see, integer main just focus on the 3 statement only. So where other process? So other process will put into the function. Okay, so for example, this function is focused on maximum number. This function is focused on the minimum number. This function focus on the total, for example. So each function just focus on what they need to do. For example, this function just focus to find the maximum number. So this function no need to think other process. It just focus on how to find the maximum number only. You just put the process to find the maximum number in this function. The example of function in the real world is just like a department. Okay, if you have one company, okay, one company, they have many department, right? So each department, they will do their own specific task. For example, we have the department of the IT. So they just focus on how to solve IT problem only. So they no need to think how to calculate the salary and so on. So to calculate the salary, it will pass to the finance department. That is how function looks like in the real world. So the programmer see the concept and they put the concept inside the programming world. So that's why in programming world, function is very, very important to make our program more faster, execute, easy to read, readability, and so on. Okay, this is the definition of the function. Okay, advantages, of course, when we talk about the function, the first advantages is we can divide and conquer. Means that we can the manageable program development. A programmer can focus on just that part of the program and control it, divide and perfect it. For example, you have a project, right? So you have the 4 people in one group. So you can divide. Each people can focus. For example, this function will focus to find the total payment, okay, for the total payment that customer need to pay for the restaurant, for example. So another people will focus on the function how to find the famous menu in that restaurant and so on. So that is how we can divide and conquer in CSC 128 project. So different people can work on the different functions simultaneously. So janganlah nanti you fokus dekat seorang je. Tak nak. So maksudnya setiap orang ada dia punya specific task dia. Okay. Okay, next, of course, software usability. Use existing function as building block for the new program. So when we use the function, we can call it many times. Okay, we can call it, we can reuse it many times as long as you want. Okay. So next is advantages, avoid code repetition, and the last is the enhance the program readability. It reduce the complexity of the function main. Okay, we want to reduce the complexity of the function main. So in other words, we want to reduce the process inside the function main. We want to make the main function more faster to execute. That's why we do the function. Okay. So now remember, we have a 2 type of function, which is first we have the predefined function and the second one is the user-defined function. So what is the difference between this function and this function? So For the predefined function, it says that also known as mathematical library function. These functions are available in the C++ standard libraries such as math.h and others. So remember, when we talk about the predefined function, we want to call the predefined function, we need to put the hashtag include. Okay, this is the an example of the predefined function call. Predefined function usually is defined by the programmer of the your punya dev C++. So programmer dev C++ prepare a function for you to use if you want to use it. Okay, how about the user-defined function? So user-defined function is the function which are defined by the user. Who is the user? The programmer. Not the programmer of the dev C++, but the programmer that want to build the program, the system. Okay, so the function that programmer create for specialized tasks. Okay, so next, okay, I want to explain you more about the predefined function. Okay, introduction. It says that predefined or built-in function are function used by the programmer in order to speed up program writing. For example, we want to find the x the power of 2. So we need to use POW. So POW is one of the example of the predefined function. Okay, next, programmer may use the existing code to perform common tasks without having to rewrite any code. What does it mean? So, as you can see in here, POW. You see POW, but at the back of the POW, at the back of this function, they have their own code. So, you as the user for the dev C++, no need to think how to make the power function. You just use it because the programmer of the dev C++ prepare it for you. Okay, you just use it. Okay, these functions are predefined by the producer of a compiler C++ and are stored in the header file. So .h file called libraries. Okay, so in order for a program to use a predefined function, the appropriate library file must be included in the program using hashtag include. So remember, if you want to call the predefined function, you need to use hashtag include. For example, IO stream. So this is one of the example of the predefined function. Okay, next, rule of predefined function. Function are accessed through a function call, a function invocation. So where you see the function call, so function call you can see before integer main. Okay, for example, hashtag include IO stream. If you want to use the math function, you need to call the library of the hashtag include math.hash. So this is the function call. Okay, or we call it a function invocation. Many C++ predefined function are return value. Those that don't are called void function. Okay, so what does it mean about return value, void function? Later I will tell you more about it, don't worry. Okay, so remember, in the predefined function, this is the most common predefined function that you usually use in CSC 1 to 8. For example, math.hash, usually you use the power and square root. C-type, this is for the data type char. So you can use to lower, to upper, is lower, is digit. Under string.h, you have the strcpy, strcmp, strlen, and strcat. So what does it mean about this function? So first is the math.hash header. So this is the hashtag include math.hash. We want to call the function math.hash. Okay, so this is one of the functions. Square root is inside the library of the math.hash. Okay, so this is we want to square root. You know what square root? This is the square root. So remember, in programming, you can use this symbol. This symbol is just used for the calculus. In coding, you need to convert it into the square root. To use the square root function, you need to call the math.hash library. If you don't call the math.hash library, so what happen? You will get the syntax error. The error will say that they can't find the sqrtx. You not declare this. So that is one of the error if you not call the library of the function. Okay, when you use the power is for the x the power of 2. Remember, in programming, you can't do this one. You need to convert it into this function. Okay, next, the power function. Okay, like I said before, so this function is just focused to find the power of what number. Okay, so square root for this one, to convert this symbol into this function. Okay, next we have the ctype.hash. Okay, ctype.hash header. To use this predefined function, your data must in char data type. So if you want to use all this function, your data must be declared in char data type. When we talk about the char data type, is the single alphabet. For example, A, B, C. So this is the data type of the single char. So I hope that right now you know how to differentiate between single char and char as an array. Okay, if you use to lower x, says that return the lowercase value of x. Okay, if the user, for example, if the user input gender, you ask the user to enter the gender. So user put the uppercase of M. If you use this function, it will display the lowercase of the M. So how about to upper? To upper, if the user input the lowercase of the data, so if you use this function, it will become uppercase. See, is upper is to determine if a character is uppercase. Is lower is to determine if a character is lowercase. Is alpha is want to they need to determine if character is a letter or the number. So this is alphabet. Is digit, they want to know the character is digit or alphabet. So next, this is the one of the example, the coding that apply the ctype.hash header. Okay, so this problem, they want to find the uppercase and lowercase value of letter entered by the user. So they need to use the two upper. As you can see in here, okay, you need to declare as a single char. Before that, you need to hashtag include ctype.hash. Okay, you should call the header before the integer main. Okay guys, so remember, if you want to use the ctype.hash, you need to declare your variable as a data type single char. Okay, so when you use the single char for the input statement, just use the what? The simple cin. No need to use the cin.getLine. That is the example of the input statement for the array of characters, char that have the size. Okay, so they ask the user to enter any character in lowercase, and then they use the assignment statement, which is x assignment operator to upper letter I. For example, in here, enter any character in lowercase. If user input the smaller case of the R, so the output is the character in uppercase is, it will change it into R in uppercase. So if you use the two lower, that means you want to make the uppercase become a lower case. Okay, usually this kind of the function will come on in the objective or maybe in the structure question. Okay, in task. Okay, next is the string.hash header. To use this predefined function, Your data must in array of character. When we talk about the array of character, you should remember, guys, char that have the size. Okay, char that have the size, we call it as the array of character. So this data type is very unique. Why? Because we need to use function when we want to do the evaluation in the selection. Okay, if we want to compare two value, so we need to use this all function. I hope that you still remember how to use this function, because this function is very important when you apply the equation using the selection control structure, especially when you want to compare the data type of the array of character. So nak tak nak, you kena gunakan all these function. Okay, usually strcmp, you will put it inside the if selection for the evaluation. So, for example, if strcmpi, for example, name, you want to find whether the name is the same with this value, for example, Nisa. Okay, if you want to know whether this name that user input same with the Nisa, you need to use this syntax. Okay, so for the strcpy, we want to copy or we want to assign value of string 2 into string 1. Okay, usually strcpy is same with the assignment statement. For the str length, okay, this one we return the length of the string. For example, if we count how many alphabet in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, so we return 4. For the str cat, string 1, string 2, combine both string and assign it to the string 1. So let's see the example of the string.hash header. Okay, so this one, the problem, find the length of the name of two people. So when we set length, what function that you need to use, you should use the str length. Okay, if you want to use str length function, you need to call the hashtag include string.hash. So remember, when you use the function under the string.hash, so you need to declare your variable as the char that have the size, or we call it as the character of array. Okay, why we declare length 1, length 2 as a integer? Remember, str length we return the length of the word. Okay, so when we talk about the length is the data type of the integer. So this is how we write the syntax if you want to use the str length. So remember, guys, remember, if you declare your variable as the char that have the size, guys, again, guys, please use this function cin.getLine variable comma size. If you use the single char without the size, okay, for example, char gender, you can write it like this for the input statement. Okay, what is the differentiate between this variable and this variable is very easy, guys. Apa perbezaan dia? Remember, okay, this variable have the size, this variable don't have the size. This variable we input the words or sentence, this variable only can accept the alphabet A, B, okay, single character only. This data type can accept sentence. For example, my name number 1. They can accept this sentence, this word. Okay, guys, so you should know how to differentiate both of these. Okay, char that have the size, char without the size, remember. Okay, so as you can see, this is the output. So enter employee name. The user input the Mia Azmi. So the length of the name is, you can calculate, start from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, the blank space also you need to count it. Okay, so that's why the length of the name is 8. Okay guys, okay, this is another example. Combine the first and second name. So if we want to combine first and second name, we can use this one, str cat. For example, you declare char name 1 size 20, char name 2 size 20 also. So you ask the user to enter your daughter's first name. So cn.getLine name 1, 20 size. Enter your daughter's second name, cin.getLine name 2, 20. So when you use this function, means that you want to combine it, name 1 and name 2 become one sentence, become one word. That's why the combined name is name 1. Okay, for example, enter your daughter first name. The user input Ain and Nadira. So the output is Aina Dira. Means that you want to combine both of these string. So it's become Aina Dira. Okay guys, done with the predefined function. You should remember predefined function is the built-in function that the programmer of Dev C++ prepared for you. You just use it. When you want to use it, you should input the syntax hashtag include library. Okay, now I want to introduce you user-defined function. So this is very important because user-defined function, you need to use it inside your project. So user-defined function is very important and very famous question in test and also the final test. So what does it mean about the user-defined function? First, it says that function designed, written or defined by a programmer. Who is the programmer? You, because you will create a one program. So you are the programmer. So you need to define yourself what kind of function that you want to use inside your program. Okay, all C++ program must contain at least one function, which is main. Main is very important, guys. Please don't forget to put an integer main. Even though you have 1000 function, you need to put the main. Because of what? Because compiler akan pergi ke main function, baru dia pergi ke function yang awak create sendiri. Next, a function must be called in order to execute the statement contained in its definition. So remember, even though you declare 1000 function, if you don't call it, tak guna. Tak guna awak ada 1000 function tapi awak tak panggil dia dekat dalam main. Memang membazir. Sesuatu pembaziran. Okay, buat function tapi tak panggil. Buat apa? Okay, tu kena ingat. Next, function must be assigned a name. Similar to variable, each function is given a valid identifier name. Remember the rules of the identifier? So you need to remember back. So when we talk about the rules of the identifier name, the name you can start with the number. Okay, same with the function. The name of the function, you can have the space between words. Okay, so you should remember all the rules of the identifier name. Okay, similar with the name of the function. A function name must be followed by the parenthesis. Okay, this one. After you name the function, for example, find max. Okay, you follow by the parenthesis. Okay. Next week I will talk more about how to build your user-defined function. For this week, I just want to introduce you what is the predefined function and also the user-defined function. Okay. So the characteristics of user-defined function are, okay, a function name must be unique. Remember, function name must be unique. Means that function name must be represent what the function do. Okay, what the task they do. If the function want to find the maximum number, so you need to name it as the find maximum number. Very easy. Okay. A function perform a specific task. Okay, you need to write a function based on the specific task. Please don't combine all the tasks in one function. For example, the function name is the find maximum. Okay, the function name is find maximum number. Of course, if I see the find maximum number, if I see this name of the function, automatically I know what is the specific task this function will process. Okay, so for example, if you want to find the maximum number, one function. If you want to find the minimum function, for example, find minimum num, so this one function. Okay, remember, setiap function hanya fokus untuk specific task sahaja. Kalau dia nak cari max lah. Kalau dia nak cari minimum lah. Kalau dia cari total. Okay, please don't combine it into one function. Okay, so function is independent, and the last one, a function may receive a return value to the calling function. This is very important. Next week I will talk more about this. I will explain it more about this. Okay, don't worry. So next, in order to create a user-defined function, this is very important. Please remember, a programmer or you must satisfy 3 requirements, which is, if you want to build the user-defined function, you need to have these 3 elements of the function, which is you must do the function prototype. Next, you must have the function call, and you must have the function definition. You must fulfill of these 3 requirements to make sure your function can process. Okay, remember, so function prototype is the function declaration. Function call, usually we'll put it inside the integer main, and function definition usually we put after the close curly braces integer main. So what does it mean about 3 of these means? So don't worry, next week I will explain you more about it. Okay, so next, user-defined function in C++ are classified into 2 categories. So we have the value returning function and void function. So first, what does it mean about the value returning function? Means that function have the return type and return a value of a specific data type using return statement. So when you talk about the value returning function, means that function will return something into main. It will give something. Something means that it will give value to the main. So next is the void function, is the vice versa from the value returning function. Void function means that function that do not have a return type, do not use a return statement to return a value. So void function does not have the return statement. Okay, value returning function, where you see this function, actually you dah pernah jumpa pun value returning function, iaitu integer main. Kan, inside here you have the return 0. Okay, this is the value returning function. Okay, void function, you tak perlu pun ada return statement ni. So this is general form of program without the function. So this is where this is the normal program without the function. Okay, all the process main yang buat. Okay, all the process of the calculation main yang buat. However, if you study about the function, this is how the function looks like. So first you have the function prototype. Okay, in integer main you have the function call, and after you close the integer main, you have the 2 function. Okay, maybe you have the value returning function, or maybe you have the void function. So this is the general form of program with only function call and function definition. So usually this is how your program looks like if you apply the function. Okay, if you have 1000 function, you do 1 function, 2 function, function number 3, function number 4, function number 5, function number 6 until 1000 function. So guys, to be continue. Okay, so today classes is just focus on the theory only. Okay, if you have any question guys, please ask me in the Telegram. So don't forget to click your attendance in the you future. And that's all for this and that's all for today classes. So we meet again next week. Assalamualaikum.